All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Sir,
Yes.
you have hit a game winner, a
Okay,
game-winning field goal. What describe for those who will never experience that? What is that like?
It's something. It's there was a big crowd that night too. It was one of the bigger games, one of the better teams that we were playing. And it was something because going out we weren't sure exactly if we were going to kick it or run some more time off, whatever. Ended up kicking it, and it was the game winner. It was 6-man, so it's different rules, but yeah, we've talked about it enough.
It was a game winner.
Game winner. It was a good experience. A lot of people in the crowd. As soon as I kicked it, I knew it was in. Like I saw how it felt coming off my foot. It felt really good. It looked good. I kind of turned. I looked, and then once I saw it halfway there, I kind of turned, walked away because I knew it was in. And all the coaches, all the players from the whatever run the field and stuff like that. Cheerleaders are really happy. Fans are really happy. It was a good atmosphere. That was on a Friday night. So Monday night and Tuesday night comes around. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're the guy who did that." Yep, that was me. Yep.
Well, that's awesome. I'm Kevin. That's my son Liam. We're the Unstable Blues, happy to present All Indiana Sports as part of the All In Sports and Rogue Media Sports Networks.
Yeah, welcome back in. What a game this was. What a finish. The Colts bucked the Broncos to move to 2-0, undefeated for the first time since 2009, and sole possession of the lead in the AFC South because the Titans and Jags lost today. And no matter what happens with Houston, doesn't matter. They lost last week.
Yep.
How did it happen? We will give you our Mayflower move and stars of the game. So let's go all in.
Yes, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at All Indiana Sports and Twitter at All Indy Sports. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep.
Injuries, I don't know. I haven't heard.
No injuries from what I saw. I watched it on Red Zone because there wasn't any other way to watch it. And it was only the Panthers game and the Eagles game on at the same time. So there's a decent amount of the Colts showing. Yep. Anything big that was happening, you saw from the Colts.
Right.
Even not even that big, just relatively big. We were seeing. I didn't see any injuries. The injuries, obviously, beforehand, Ward was a heavy impact. Goody. Latu didn't play, which you said was a smart play because of the depth at edge. Yep. I don't remember if we talked about it here or if it was offline. So
yeah, we did talk about it here. Yeah.
Yeah, those were the three major ones that I kind of saw. I mean, Goody not as much because we'll talk about why that wasn't as much in a bit. But those are Ward and Latu were definitely big impacts that we didn't have them. So
yeah. Let's tell you the story of the game. The Colts put together a nice opening drive, but only resulted in a field goal.
Yep, the Broncos answered with a 23-yard Marvin Mims touchdown. I saw that release. I was like, that's a touchdown, isn't it?
Yep.
Sure enough, it was.
Colts orchestrated another quality drive that stalled for another field goal after a questionable no call in the end zone for Alec Pierce.
Yep, after a 3-and-out for the Broncos, Daniel Jones punched it in the end zone after a huge Jonathan Taylor catch and run.
Yes, Troy Franklin answered on his own touchdown drive, pretty much entirely on his own.
Yep. Seemed like anything big that was happening for the Broncos, passing-wise, it was Troy Franklin.
Yep.
The Colts then had their first of 2 turnovers on downs, and the Broncos capitalized with a Xavier Howard penalty drive touchdown. Yes, you heard that. Pretty much just Xavier Howard penalties.
Yep.
Although it wasn't as bad as the same offensive lineman getting penalized 4 times on a single drive for the Giants. By the way, a little shout out.
Yep.
if you did not see the Giants-Cowboys game, go watch it back.
Yeah,
It was a
after
game
you're
to remember.
finished with this.
Yes,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
It was a game to remember.
Yep. The Colts incidentally had, up until that turnover on downs, 10 straight possessions to open the season with a score on every single one of those 10 possessions up until that point.
Rigoberto Sanchez has still hit the field 0 times to punt the ball.
He did, but it was a penalty, and he
That's
absorbed
right.
the penalty,
I remember.
and therefore the drive kept going.
Yep.
If you need help turning your little one over to bed, you can go to Joi Baby sleep sacks and matching crib sets. You can click the link in the description for more on that.
Yeah, before the end of the half, JT caught a touchdown pass after a 44-yard Pierce bomb down the sideline. He was being interfered with, and then the Colts forced a 3-and-out to bring the halftime score to 21-20. So only down 1, considering I said earlier in the game, it looked like the Colts were down by 2 to 3 possessions, and it just not looked that way. It felt that way to me as a fan. I was watching. I was like, oh, we just can't get anything going.
One of my keys to the game, you got to convert the field goals into touchdowns. That didn't quite happen today. Bo Nix started off scampering the Broncos to an opening J.K. Dobbins touchdown run in the second half.
Yep. And then after another Colts field goal, a Denver punt, and Indy's second turnover on downs, Cam Bynum intercepted Nix, which led to another Spencer Schrader field goal to set up a 68-yard Jonathan Taylor run.
Yeah, it was set up by that. That's pretty cool. Nice to see him have one of those runs, you know? The Broncos worked back down the field to set up Will Lutz. 42-yard field goal to put Denver up by 5 with just over 3 minutes left in the game, but he hit an inside wind gust, and that pushed it into the post and off and out.
Yeah. And then that left the score Broncos 28, Colts 26, and set up the drama at the end with the questionable clock management or running plays at the very edge of long field goal range, all that nonsense, which I thought during the game, whenever the score did go 20-21, I was like, okay, I would have gone for 2 there. That's just me to tie the game up. But now, if you think about it, it would have, if they missed that 2-point conversion, then that's a whole you're going to overtime then, rather than just
why you never do it until you have to, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you want to make sure you have that goal in mind. Speaking of which, open goal can help you with a rebounder and goal setup in your backyard. Click the link in the description for more on that.
Yep. And then next up, Spencer Schrader, the drama that we talked about. Spencer Schrader missed a 60-yarder wide right. Didn't even have the distance either. But he was bailed out by Denver's middle rushers with a leverage penalty. People I was watching it with was like, what's leverage? I was like, man, I don't know. And I watched the replay back. I'm like, oh, now I know. You cannot touch the center. You have to jump over him if you want to get above him.
Yep.
And then it was an unnecessary roughness penalty or whatever you call it. So it's 15 yards. And then Schrader nailed the 45-yarder with zeros on the clock and was lifted high on his teammates' shoulders.
Amazing turn of events. As we said before this, I love watching Blue. If you just go back and watch the game, watch Blue's reaction to the 2 different field goals there. It's quite entertaining. All right, time to look at the stat sheet. Daniel Jones went 23 for 34, only missed 11 passes all game, went for 360 yards and 1 touchdown. I believe, if I heard correctly, I didn't fact check it, so you can fact check me in the comments if I'm wrong. I believe Daniel Jones set a franchise record for the Colts in most amount of yardage in a single half. Because he had like 85 in the first half. I can't fathom that that's actually correct when you have Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and Johnny Unitas as part of the history with the Colts.
Right.
And I'll even throw Jim Harbaugh in there. But so correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I thought I heard. All right.
Yeah. And then back to my position, Jonathan Taylor.
I thought you were, we just said you were a kicker though.
I played everything. Jonathan Taylor, 165 yards on 25 carries. Let me do some math real quick.
Yep. It's 6.6.
Okay. You got it. 6.6 yards per carry. Someone was asking me last week, and they're like, hey, what's a good yards per carry? I was like, well, good, we're talking 3.5 yards per carry to 4. That's pretty solid. Great is anywhere 4.5 and up. Yep. This was amazing yards per carry.
It's easy to do that in one game. It's much more difficult to have that over the course of a season, let alone a career. Some have been able to do it. I believe Jonathan Taylor is in that mix.
Jonathan Taylor is around the 4.1 to 4.3 range, I believe, from last time I saw.
Since he's been drafted in 2021, he is number 3 in total yardage, total rush yardage, and it's only to Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. That's the only two that he's trailing.
Is elite company. Both future Hall of Famers. Derrick Henry, probably a first ballot future Hall of Famer.
Yep. Jones spread the ball to 7 different receivers with JFD. That's Josh first downs because he had his first down of the year. Leading in catches with 6, and Warren at the top of the yardage with 79, and Jonathan Taylor with the lone receiving touchdown. Yes, you heard it correctly. The running back caught the only touchdown pass.
The running back who's not known for receiving.
Right, but had 2 really big ones.
Yep. And then Cam Bynum, of course, had that pick. I believe he also had three or 4 tackles as well. So he's doing his job, doing exactly what we wanted him to do.
Exactly. Take the ball away. Nix was well protected, but the Colts did have 5 TFLs. Nix had 0 pressures and 0 hits and 0 sacks. So
there was a sack in there. There was a sack.
Not recorded.
Did they count that as a scramble?
Yeah.
Or something? Because it was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but he was outside the pocket. Looked like he was going to run.
That would be a TFL then. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe the defensive line needs to train a bit more. Speaking of training, farm hounds, training puppies with healthy treats. That's what we use here at Country Mountain Dogs. So click the link in the description for more.
Yes, time to get into the intangibles. What were some of the things that maybe don't show up, or people might have to dig a little bit more for on the stat sheet that impacted the game?
The big one is the penalty at the end, the leverage penalty.
Okay.
There's gonna be I have 2 penalty things that I'm gonna talk about here.
Go for it.
That penalty, which if you watch it enough, it is leverage. They're pushing off of the center. Oh, yeah. You cannot do that.
Cannot do that.
That's the definition of the leverage penalty.
It's different on special teams than on regular offense. Because of the nature of the long snap and where the guy has to be and has to be positioned, you actually put him in a lot of physical danger because his legs are spread quite a bit. So you can cause quite a bit of groin issues there if you're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reason for the penalty existing.
So that is an intangible because people want to say, hey, you guys shouldn't have won that because of this.
Oh, yeah.
We won. Did we not?
Yep.
That's all that matters. And then the other penalty one that I wanted to talk about was a lot of calls. Not saying that this shouldn't have been called. There were a couple that were like, but it's just a lot of penalties. So you need to tighten up on that. Now, if you don't have all those penalties, you win the game by more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You stop them more, which means you win. You don't score more points, but they don't score as many.
Yep.
And then my last intangibles is it was hard without Ward. because, yes, Xavier Howard's good. Back to the corner 1, but Charvarius Ward is just that much better. He's an elite company as a corner. Very, very solid. And Latu was very bad not to have there. We weren't getting that much pressure. Whenever I feel like we should have gotten a lot more pressure. There's a lot more opportunities, but our guys weren't agile or fast enough. That's where Latu comes in. He is. That's why he's able to drop in coverage and get a pick.
Yeah, I hear you. My intangibles, I'll talk about the penalties, but I will just say overarching, you're going to look at this from a completely objective perspective, and I know we aren't that. And so we have our own perspective, but I will do my best to say overarching, I believe that the calls were missed or made rather evenly.
Yeah.
I
guess that's fair.
And I didn't see many that were called that I go, oh, that wasn't a penalty. I think everything that was called deserved a flag for what it was. I will say that the Alec Pierce call in the end, no call in the end zone, was absolutely a flag, should have been, and it actually was called for the Broncos. Same kind of thing with a jersey grab. There was just a little bit more pull and tug on the jersey rather than inside the shoulder patch, which is probably even worse, more dangerous later in the game. But the Broncos also had an offensive face mask that led to the stall out, that led to the Will Lutz missed field goal. That it's hard to say that a brush across a face mask is a face mask. That's
Right.
kind of and they called the wrong guy for it too. So penalties on both sides, 2 misses, or 1 made, 1 missed, both sides. You know, both, one basically not for the Colts and 1 for the Colts.
Yeah.
And so
And
does it balance
big
itself
plays.
out? But does it balance itself out? You took away a touchdown, so that's 4 points, but then you led to 3 points on the other side. So yes, it kind of balances itself out. What didn't balance itself out was field goals. Will Lutz went 0 for 1, and Spencer Strader hit 5 for 5. It looked like he was not going to be perfect anymore in the NFL, and then he was because of the penalties. So he's still a perfect 10 for 10 on all of his NFL field goal attempts. And then the Colts need to do better on stopping the run and the screen pass. This always seems to be a bit of a struggle for them. So I will throw that out there. The Colts had 5.2 total yards per carry, but the Broncos had 4.9. So that's not a whole lot of a difference, and you still allowed a lot of explosive plays off of those runs. But you won the turnover, you won the time of possession, and then you also won the overall rush yards. So those are 3 stats.
Checked on all 3 of our boxes.
Yep. Those are stats. The only other one that I would say was a problem team stat-wise, was that the Broncos were 3 for 3 in the red zone, and the Colts were only 2 for 6.
Yeah.
So that's conversion into touchdowns, not field goals, which is the big deal. So what was your Mayflower move of the game? What was the game-changing one for you?
There's a lot. There's a lot of Colts plays.
Could it be anything else?
There's a lot of Colts plays. It could be any big JT. JT had 3 big plays because the touchdown I'd consider a big play.
Yep.
But it's got to be the Will Lutz field goal miss. Like, he that miss resulted in the Colts being able to go down and in a position to, like, pretty much there's a win probability stat that popped up. It was like Broncos win probability 75%. I'm sure whenever they line up for the field goal, the win probability shot up to like 85, 90%, something crazy like that.
Yep.
But as soon as he missed that field goal, it flips around.
Yep.
Because you miss a field goal, And this isn't robots playing the game. It's humans who mess up. That's why you play the game. I said that I don't know how many times today. People JJ was like, "Oh, the Eagles should be winning." Okay, but this is why the Eagles should be smoking them. This is why you play the game.
Yep.
The Cowboys shouldn't be losing by this. Shouldn't be losing. Shouldn't be in a close battle. That's why you play the game.
Yep.
So that just it resulted in there being a 2-point gap rather than a 5-point gap, and you having to go down and score a touchdown, which I think the Colts still could have done. There's enough time. They had all 3 of their timeouts. It is still attainable regardless which way. But it's just the fact that you only needed a field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So mine is related to that. But I'm also going to give one more point here that is not for the Colts, against the Colts. And penalties obviously would be at the top of the list that we haven't even mentioned yet. You got to get that cleaned up. But the time, the clock management, and the field position management on that last drive was maddeningly frustrating. I kept going, why are they letting the clock run down when you are literally at the very, very precipice of the edge of field goal range? You need more yardage, whether that is you run it or you. And what I really wanted them to bring back was the Mo Alley Cox play where they brought in from last year, where they brought in Franklin. Do you remember this as a fullback?
I think I know what you're talking about.
They faked the run hard, and Mo Alley Cox was all by himself. I said, this is a perfect opportunity. One of these second down plays was like perfect for one of those, like, you're going to think I'm going to run. You know I'm going to run. But all of a sudden, tight end's going to leak out, and it's instead of a game-winning field goal, it would have been a game walk-off touchdown instead. That's where I would have headed with it.
I also want to point out one more thing. I liked the Tyler Warren in the backfield getting the handoff on the fourth down. Kind of sucked. It looked like he got tripped a little bit, and like the blocking just wasn't that great. But to be fair, that defensive front from the Broncos is no joke.
And also that play set up a later pass out of the backfield where they bid on the run, and he was able to leak out into a big play down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that stuff is set up. But my actual Mayflower move is, how could it be anything other than ice in his vein Schrader that said, I don't care if I miss, I will hit the next one. Thank you very much. And walked it off. Actually didn't even have to walk because he was carried off. So
I think the one from 45 that he made would have been good from 60. It looked really good.
Yeah. He, that short memory that all the kickers need to have, that like literally you are mechanical in it. You go through all of the things, muscle memory, doing it all the time so that when you need it, it's there. And unlike the Tennessee kicker, you could just nail it.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little bit of a gift, but he made sure that he didn't get that last one, didn't get in his head, and he nailed it at the end. So who is your star of the game? This segment now sponsored by Underdog Fantasy Sports app. You can go on there, play some games. You can guess the higher, the lower for any player and their touchdowns or the yardage or whatever you might think of. If you think that one of our players that we may have talked about in our preview episode you agreed with us, then you can go test that out and put some players together in a flex thing and play the games. It's a pretty awesome tool at your fingertips. Who was your star of the game?
Before I say it, I want to give an honorable mention to Daniel Jones, over 300 passing yards, big contributor to the 470 plus total offensive yards, almost 500. That's crazy.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with the other contributor of those 470-plus yards being Jonathan Taylor, 165 yards, a touchdown. It's crazy. My player to watch was Daniel Jones. Very well could have been, the player of the game. But whenever you have someone go over 150 rushing yards or receiving yards, any of those in one stat is crazy to me. So you got to get it.
Yes, he did tie Eric Dickerson all time on the most amount, or he has now 24 100-yard games in his career. So he tied Eric Dickerson on that list. That's another Colts player and another great name to be mentioned with. I can't believe you didn't say this. So now I'm left with a dilemma. I thought for sure you were going to say Spencer Schrader, so I left it for you because you took my player to watch as your star of the game.
I did.
But it was okay. I wasn't even going to mention him. I was going to leave you with the dilemma. I left you with
mention a 165 yards.
I left you with the dilemma of the running back or the kicker because those
I didn't mention the
positions.
Kicker, so I left you with a dilemma.
It's fine. I've sung Spencer Schrader's praises enough here that I'm going to give it to a guy on a defensive side who, like, during the game, I just like, man, he just is everywhere, doing
just like last year,
all kinds of things at the line, in coverage, all over the place. Nick Cross led the team with 7 tackles, had a pass breakup, and just seemed to always, even if he wasn't like heavily involved, was around the ball wherever he needed to be. Joe Bacci was as well. I noticed him too, but Nick Cross just everywhere he needed to be. And, that's what you want, star of the game,
Yep, exactly.
Well, that's it. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be back tomorrow with our Fever Frenzy as the Fever had their first game of the playoffs. Later this week, we will have our Unstable Pick 6, where we'll predict 6 NFL games and our Crimson Cutback look at IU's dominant performance heading into the Big Ten schedule, and our preview of the Colts' visit to Music City to take on the Titans.
Yep. Well, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin,
reminding you to stay all Indiana.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.